welcome back to my channel. My birthday was a little while ago. Sorry, book birthday tag. This is my birth month. I don't know when I was born. Funny story. My parents told me my birthday was the 21st of November, and I have been celebrating that for 21 years now. I'm 21. As of right now, I'm officially legal, so that's been a fun experience. And my family's gonna be celebrating when I get back home. But all my life, for the past 21 years, I've been celebrating my birthday on the 21st. Now, my parents told me that that was my birthday. My aunt believes it's my birthday. She's like, yeah, I remember because like you were like my birthday person, because my birthday was like the 23rd or the 22nd. I think it's the 23rd for her. And I'm like, okay, but like, why does it say on my birth certificate that I was born on the 19th? So I asked my parents that, and I asked a lot of my family members on my dad's side, because they're the ones that remember. My mom's side thinks I'm crazy, because they're like, oh, well, are you sure? Like, why don't you celebrate on the 19th? Are you sure? Like, did they lie to you? And like my dad's side is like, oh yeah, your birthday's the 21st. Like of course. But yeah, on my birth certificate it says the 19th. So I asked my parents. My mom was like, oh, your dad fucked up the birth certificate. And I was just like, that doesn't really make much sense. Because it's not like he's handling the paperwork. So I was very confused. And then I asked my dad. Big mistake, because he has a lot of issues, so it's not really the greatest thing to trust him. Anyway, so my dad's like, oh yeah, like the hospital got it wrong. And I was just like, how? Like, I'm very confused. So on my birth certificate it says the 19th, so I legally am an adult on the 19th. Whether or not that's wrong, I don't know. Like, that's what it says on my birth certificate, that's what it says on all of my documents, my school records know it as that, everything. But my parents celebrate on the 21st, and they believe that it was the 21st. So I'm just like, which one is it? Like, I will always celebrate the 21st no matter what, just because like I'm used to it. Like, I'm used to celebrating it that day. It's like if you were to celebrate a particular holiday every single year for like 20 something years, changing the date of it would kind of be a little weird. There's a reason why I haven't gone to check it, because I'm afraid that they're gonna tell me that I was born the 19th. So it's kind of like, why did they lie to me? So technically I have two birthdays that are not next to each other. I mean, they're separated by one day. One person, they told me that they're like, why don't you just meet in the middle and celebrate it the 20th? And I'm just like, I don't know. I just celebrated the 21st, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, we are gonna talk about birthday tags. So I've done a few tags in the past, I believe, and the first question is birthday cake. And so it says, the first question is, a book with a plot that seems cliche but you adore it anyway. Trying to think. I'm thinking of like a lot of fairy tale books. I would have to say like all of Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicle novels and Sarah J Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I know it says pick one book, but like, if you know me, I can't choose favorites. If I had children, I couldn't choose a favorite. Like, no, I just can't. I don't have a favorite food. I don't have a favorite drink. I don't really have like a favorite, like, anything in general. Even like my favorite book is not even my real favorite book. It's like a series, so like I have to pick more than one. But yeah, I would think of those kind of like books, like just like any like those fairy tale books. It's like, it's such a cliche, but at the same time it's like I love them. I can't help it. It works somehow. Yeah. Anyway, so the next question is for party guests. Your most anticipated book release for this year. Here's the thing. I am looking forward to it so much. It's Chain of Gold from Cassandra Clare, the Shadowhunter series that's living on for generations. That series takes place after the Infernal Devices. It's coming out next year, and I am looking so forward to it. I have been looking forward to that series for like 4 years now. When I first went onto Cassandra's website and I saw that she had like ideas in the process of making them, like freaking like 6 years in planning of like different books. When I heard that she was gonna do another series based off of the events that follow a little bit after the Infernal Devices, and like that Will and Tessa and Jim were gonna be together, I was just like, oh yes, because this was at the point where like I had finished the series of the Infernal Devices, and when I found out that she was gonna do another one, but I had to wait almost 6 years for it to come out, I was just like, I hope she does it, I hope she does it, because it was just like an idea, it was just a concept at the time. So yeah, it was almost 6 years. I'm not sure, I believe it was 6 years, but yeah, when I first heard about it, that was the book I've been anticipating for the longest time. And just hearing it get announced, I think I heard it get announced like a month ago, and I was just like, oh my god, like it's coming out around my birthday, this is such a great surprise. I was so happy, and I just really want to get it so badly. Like all of the characters that are new, they're gonna be like, oh my god, like I have seen so much fan art and so much like just concept art for the novels, and just seeing the cover of the book, I want to read it so much right now. I have never been more excited for a book series in a long time. Normally it's like books that have already come out and then I find them out later on. Yeah, with Cassandra's books, I'm always really excited for them, but like this one, I'm really excited because I get to read more about Will. I love how that's the thing that I'm most excited about, even though I know it's not going to be specifically about the three main trio, it's going to be about more people, but just hearing about just like the next generation of it, it hurts my heart a little bit. Anything that has like Will, Tessa, and Jim a little bit mentioned in it, oh my god, I just like I die hard fan over it. But yeah, even though that's not for this year, it's for the following year. That's the book that I've been anticipating for pretty much 6 years now. Question number 3, birthday presents. Pick a book that surprised you with how much you loved it. Was A Court of Thorns and Roses. I went into that book thinking that I was gonna hate it. I really, honestly, when I know that I love like a lot, like when there's an author that I consistently love reading their books and they're always doing really great and like they're doing better every year, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I tend to like stick to just reading their books. So like it's on rare occasions that I'll like deviate outside of that. Like I don't read a lot of indie books. I wish I did, like, and I think it's just because like, you know, you tend to gear towards like what's popular and stuff like that, and I haven't really been on Goodreads in a while. But when I discovered A Court of Thorns and Roses, nobody ever suggested it to me, nobody ever mentioned it, and I was really surprised by it. So I went into it thinking, because I knew it was an adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, so I thought it was going to be really cliche and like really weird. There were certain points where I thought it was like, ooh, like I don't really like this, but like at the end of it, I really fell in love with it. The only other book that I would say that ever did that for me was Nightshade. I really didn't know what it was about, and I really thought it was just gonna, like the cover of the book, I kind of thought that it was just gonna be about werewolves. So like I don't really read a lot of books that are like really werewolf and vampire heavy, so that was another book that like it surprised me that I ended up liking it so much. Happy Birthday Song, a book that certainly deserved all the hype it got. Ooh, there's been a lot. The Hunger Games, Divergent, Sarah J. Maas's whole entire series got a lot of hype. The Shadowhunter Chronicle novel things, whatever you want to call them, they got a lot of hype. Got freaking TV show and then a movie, which I personally thought was better than the TV show. That's another debate. That's another discussion for another debate. Yeah, I think The Hunger Games. Also, speaking of The Hunger Games, I can't believe Suzanne Collins is making another Hunger Games novel, and it's coming out next year, and I was really blown away by that. I don't know if she's been making any other books. I haven't heard anything from her, but I think it's, I can't remember if it's a prequel to The Hunger Games or if it's a sequel to it. Knowing me, I'll probably read it either way, but out of all of them, I would say The Hunger Games really deserved all the hype that I got. It wasn't too pushy to the point where it was like, oh, that's all we talk about. So number 5 is Happy Music. A book with some very beautiful and truly memorable quotes. Oh my god. I feel like all of this is just Mortal Instruments. Infernal Devices. Those are really the only quotes that I know from any book in general. Not to say that like any like the books that I've read in the past aren't memorable. Like I think all of them are memorable. I just don't remember quotes from every single book. I mostly remember quotes from the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments. Like one about, I believe Tessa said, like, one must always cherish books because the words are very powerful. I can't remember what the true quote is. I'll put it up there. That's one of them. Also, that's the reason why pain is meant to be felt. It's pain. I know a lot of quotes from Magnus Bane. I can't remember some of them though. There's another one called "Men were meant to suffer and women were meant to endure." Like, there's a few quotes and I'll put them on the screen. Question number 6, getting older. And let me tell you, I didn't think I would make it past 20. I don't know why. I thought, you know, as a kid, once you're 20, that's it. Everything, you've lived your life. It's all over. Not there's all, I don't know. I just had this weird mentality that, like, yeah, I'm not gonna live past 20. Like, after that, I've lived all my life. And the amount of times I've been so stressed, and I talk to my friend about this all the time. I'm like, we're so stressed and we're only 20. Like, she's 20 and I'm 21 now. That feels really weird saying it. Like, the other day when I first had my first real drink, and I went to a store, and like, so my ID, this is a little story time, my ID is still horizontal. It's not or no, it's still diagonal. It's not horizontal. I haven't gotten it renewed, but it's still valid. And so I went there and I'm just like thinking to myself, like, I hope they don't think it's fake, because like I have that baby face, and so I'm just like, I hope they don't think this is fake, because I'm over here buying wine. And like, the woman at the cashier, she was just like, oh, you're just barely making it. And I'm just like, what do you mean by that? I was so confused. I don't know if she meant like, oh, you're just barely making it into the world, or like, you're just barely living, or like, oh, it was your birthday like 2 days ago, so you're just barely making it. I'm just like, what do you mean? I'm so confused. Anyway, so that felt really weird. And then I went to a bar by myself for the first time, and like, just like sitting there and like drinking, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm in this booth, which, by the way, they put me in a big giant booth, and I'm just like sitting there and I'm just like, I feel like a 13-year-old sitting at a booth while I'm drinking right now. And I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm 21. Like, this is not the appearance of a 21-year-old. I'm in my PJs right now, so #adulting. But I mean, getting older does, I don't feel any older. I still feel like I'm 13. So let's put that in perspective. And I'm 21, so I feel like I'm 13 years old. So knowing that I'm getting older is not the greatest thing. But anyways, the question is, a book that you read a long time ago, but you think you would appreciate more if you read it as a more mature reader. I think if I had read these two different books, one book is not really like a book, it's a play. If I had read if I had read any like Shakespeare's plays when I was older, I probably would have appreciated them a little bit more, just because I really didn't appreciate them all that much. Same thing goes for like, so I didn't read Frankenstein, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, until like a year ago. I think if I had read it when I was in my 30s, I probably would have appreciated it more. I like it. I don't really think it's a great book. That's more like on the classical side. I think one book in particular though, if I had read it when I was older, I probably would have appreciated it more. And this book I actually don't like, for a multiple of reasons. Nothing to the writer or anything like that. I probably will do a review on it because it became a hit TV show on Netflix, and I think the TV show is pretty good, but it's also because I don't think it should be geared towards children. Anyway, because I read this book when I was like 13 or 14, I read it. Yeah, 13 Reasons Why. If I had read it when I was a little bit older, I think I would have appreciated it more. Like, I understand that it's supposed to, you know, make light of like bullying and like all of this other stuff. I do think the show takes it a little bit too far, but I think if I had read it when I was a little bit older, I would have appreciated it more, because at the time when I read it, I just thought this was really bad. Because like, I felt like it was attacking me, because I had went through a loss, and like, just the whole entire thing of like reading it at the time was not, it was not good. It's not like my head wasn't, my mental state wasn't okay, so it wasn't okay for me to read that book. And I really had no choice to read it because I had to read it for a class. So it was kind of like, it was not a good time for me to read that book. I think if I had read it when I was older, I would have appreciated it. Even I know some people who are like in their 30s and they're just like, man, like even like they didn't really think that they should have read that book. But anyway, out of all of them, I would pick that one, 13 Reasons Why. Sweet Birthday Memories, a book that kept you incredibly happy during a sad or demanding period of your life. Ooh. I feel like I'm just gonna go back to the same series that I love. Infernal Devices. I don't think I've ever talked about this on my channel, but like I said, I had lost somebody very, very close to me like 6 years ago, and I really didn't have anybody to really talk to, and I really didn't know how to do anything creative with my life, or like do, like just like take out my emotions and like have a positive coping mechanism. So I went to books, and the one book that kept me going through the first like year after I had lost this person, they were really, really close to me. They were a really close family member. So the first year after losing them, I fell in love with literature, and the book series that kept me going was The Infernal Devices. Just reading about Tessa and how she really didn't have anybody, and she ended up having her own family later on, and then realizing that she was different from everybody. I always felt that way as a kid. Like I always felt like I was an outcast and people really didn't understand me. And then eventually, as I gotten older, I found my own like group of people that I like to hang out with. So it's kind of like, just reading that kind of like really did give me a lot of hope in the world. And it was a lot that was going on at the time, and just reading a book that was more fiction and fantasy, and like I love saying this because like everybody says this when they read books. They're like, oh, we read books to like, you know, get out of our real world and like go into another world. And that's basically what I was doing in the beginning of reading when I first got into it. So the Infernal Devices series really kept me going, and I was going through a really, really bad time in my life when I was reading that. So it really helped. And I actually do have to say that if I didn't pick up that series, I probably would have like resorted to like drugs or like cutting or something of the sort. Like I would have went into a really bad depression, and I did for a while at one point, and that was just because I was hanging around the wrong people. It was a saving grace, I will say. Reading that series just made me feel a lot more connected to more people. Like I found tons of people on YouTube who like had similar passions, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is a thing. Like I didn't know like people, I didn't know about Goodreads, I didn't know about NaNoWriMo, and then I started like venting out my problems in like, not my problems, my emotions into like writing, and then I started my novel a little bit not too long after, like right around when Diversion came out, and it ended up going from there. So I think that series in and of itself really kept me going for a long time. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye.